People love Bitcoin, and for good reason.
The Bitcoin bulls are back.
Bitcoin is on the way back.
Seen the price of Bitcoin double.
Bitcoin reached all-time highs yesterday.
But those who don't love Bitcoin are on a wild goose chase to delegitimize it.
There's a huge motivation, if you're a Bitcoin miner, to burn an awful lot of electricity. You enter by doing on a computer a very hard and completely useless calculation. The only reason why you're doing this calculation is to prove that you've wasted some electricity doing it.
Huh? The chase will only grow more desperate as Bitcoin's value climbs and as more people adopt it as currency. It's already reached the internet's late 90s adoption levels. But beneath this search for a needle in the haystack with which to prick Bitcoin, is there any truth? First, what is Bitcoin, and why has it become so popular? In 1991, blockchain was invented as a series of ledgers to verify the authenticity of documents. Meanwhile, in development was proof of work, a foundation for consensus that prevents members of a network from gaming the system.
A clever entity who goes by the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto realized in 2008 that this odd proof of work mechanism was perfect for ensuring the security of a distributed digital payments network.
By September 2021, Bitcoin had a market cap of $1.2 trillion and was threatening the monopoly of fiat, or government-controlled and enforced, currency. And so, politicians, ever protective of their power, are throwing a tantrum, sowing fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Crypto puts the system at the whims of some shadowy, faceless group of supercoders and miners.
And Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said cryptocurrencies have been used to launder the profits of online drug traffickers and terrorists. And then there's the biggest whopper of all, that Bitcoin is bad for the environment.
My name is Jimmy Song. I am a Bitcoin developer, educator, and entrepreneur. I love the 19th century era, that whole cowboy era, and this epic of going and making something of yourself. That's why I went there. Yeah, so Bitcoin mining is, I made the analogy that Bitcoin is digital gold, and gold has a mining process, and that's where the term comes from. Obviously, digging that much dirt and rock out of the ground and processing it with chemicals and all that is fairly expensive. With Bitcoin, it's similar, except, it's in the digital realm, so instead of dirt and rock, what you have to process are lots and lots of numbers.
Bitcoin mining does consume a lot of energy, though not nearly as much as the world's traditional banking and credit card networks. But claims that it uses more energy than Argentina are misleading.
The big thing to recognize about Bitcoin is that it is a very unique energy consumer. Energy that comes to my house is available whenever I need it, whether I need it or not. So something like a third of all energy produced around the world falls into this category of wasted energy because energy producers are producing for peak demand. What Bitcoin miners generally tend to do is get the cheapest energy, which tends to be sort of like the leftover energy that no one wants. Or would otherwise get wasted. Really, this whole narrative is based on a complete misunderstanding of how energy markets work.
Moreover, Bitcoin, unlike government currency, which can be printed whenever politicians want to score cheap points with voters, is finite. Only 21 million Bitcoin will ever be available, and almost 90% has already been mined. Critics also overlook the kind of energy miners use. Some estimates have Bitcoin's use of renewable energy approaching 75%.
Bitcoin has the ability to sort of like subsidize some of the clean energy, but to a large degree, I think it'll subsidize all forms of energy. And yeah, it'll make them a little more profitable because they don't have to waste so much. I think Bitcoin will be amazing for the environment.
Consider China, which banned cryptocurrency mining and trading in May, citing environmental and financial concerns.
And one of the nice things about Bitcoin mining is that it can move. It's portable. And, if it gets banned in China, it can come over to the United States.
Generally, if the corrupt, murderous, communist Chinese government is against something, the free world should probably be for it. Bitcoin is not bad for the environment. It's a global godsend.
Bitcoin is the single best shot at achieving liberty in our lifetime, because it will take away the power to create money out of thin air entirely from the government.
Of course, that's what we've seen throughout the world, especially since March of 2020. Haphazard money printing that is devaluing the bills and coins in our pockets. As Nobel Prize-winning economist Friedrich Hayek said in 1977, government's monopoly to issue money has deprived us of good money and deprived us of the process by which we can find good money. The benefits to everyone of good money are almost incalculable. With good, decentralized, finite money, people will be able to more efficiently decide what to buy and sell, more accurately save for retirement, and make safer family planning decisions. And because under the fiat system, the dice are so heavily stacked against the poor, Bitcoin has even greater benefits to them.
Generally, we need to not only look at from Bitcoin from like the affluent Western perspective, where we have all access to credit cards, to banking system, to interest rate accounts, to the stock market. But we should also think about the 2 billion people around the world that don't have access to banks. What people only understand once they start using Bitcoin is you are not only holding like a currency, you also are your own bank. No government, no bank, no borders be able to stop you.
The data support Bitcoin as a blessing to the world's poorest countries. Asian, African, and South American countries occupy 17 of the top 20 spots in crypto adoption. And as hip-hop artist Ludwig von Mises once rapped,
"The wealthiest countries do the most to conserve. Haven't you heard of the Kuznets curve? Only wealthy societies can afford to go green. If you want a better world, see the unseen."
By helping to bring poor countries out of poverty, Bitcoin will speed up environmental progress. Attempting to stifle its growth is the last thing politicians should be doing. But as we know, politicians will seize any chance to expand or consolidate their power. And because Bitcoin is so new, so misunderstood, and because it threatens their power to control money, it's the perfect boogeyman for politicians to attack. However, the evidence is clear. Regulations on Bitcoin would hurt us all, especially those in poverty. Are you invested in Bitcoin? What do you think? Is it a giant waste and environmental disaster waiting to happen? Or does it represent hope for humankind? Tell us in the comments and share any resources you find. As we see it, Bitcoin's climate change problem is no problem at all. Besides, it misses the bigger picture, that any minor drawbacks to Bitcoin are overwhelmed by its major benefits.